In the quiet village of Mimira, people loved to gossip. Nothing escaped their mouths, especially when it came to Miffa. Miffa was a dark-skinned, round-faced girl with a soft voice and the most beautiful smile. But her body was big, very big. Her hips shook the earth when she walked. Her arms jiggled like soft dough, and her steps always made the children laugh. They didn't see beauty, they only saw fat. Miffa pretended not to care. She would smile and laugh with everyone, but deep inside, her heart hurt. The village girls wore tight wrappers and short tops to show off their flat stomachs and slim waists. Boys called them sweet names and followed them like bees chasing honey. But no one ever looked at Miffa like that. Her clothes never fit right. Her wrappers always looked like they were fighting for air, and her belly stuck out no matter how she tied it. The village festival was coming, and Miffa could already hear the whispers. Will she roll to the dance floor? Someone joked. She'll break the drum with her weight, another laughed. That night, Miffa sat by the river, her eyes full of tears. I just want to be slim, she whispered. I just want a flat stomach, like the other girls. Is that too much? Suddenly, she heard a sound behind her. She turned quickly. She saw an old woman step out from the trees. She wore a long black cloak, and her face looked like it had seen many years. Her eyes glowed faintly in the moonlight. It's not too much, the woman said. Miffa blinked in surprise. Who are you? The woman smiled slowly. Someone who can give you what you want, but only if you're ready to take it. Miffa wiped her tears and stood. What do I have to do? She asked. The woman reached into her bag and pulled out something strange, a piece of dark brown waist wrapper. It looked simple, but something about it felt alive. Wrap this tightly around your stomach, sleep with it, and by morning you will wake up slim, flat like river water. But remember, nothing comes for free, even beauty. Miffa took the wrapper in her hands. It felt warm. Miffa walked home quickly, holding the strange wrapper close to her chest. Her heart beat fast, not from the walk, but from fear and hope. The wrapper looked old and simple, yet the moment she touched it, something inside her had shifted. It was as if it was waiting for her all this time. She got into her room, locked the wooden door, and sat on her mat. Her hands were still shaking. What if this doesn't work? She whispered. But she was tired of being the joke of Mimira, tired of hiding behind big clothes and fake smiles. She took off her usual wrapper and slowly tied the new one around her waist. As soon as the fabric touched her skin, she felt a strange heat, like warm pepper water spreading across her belly. She gasped but didn't stop. She tied it tighter, making sure it covered her whole stomach. Then she lay down and closed her eyes and prayed. Please work. Please let me wake up beautiful. That night she dreamed of herself walking into the festival with a flat stomach, slim waist, and large hips for the first time. The boys stared. The girls clapped. She danced and smiled. When the rooster crowed in the morning, Miffa sat up. Something felt different. She looked down and screamed. Her big stomach was gone. She jumped up and rushed to her mirror. Her waist had become tiny. Her arms were smooth. Her face looked sharper, like the fat had been gently carved away. Her thighs, once like yam tubers, were now soft like ripe mangoes. Her clothes hung loosely on her. She looked beautiful. Miffa laughed and danced in her room. It worked. It really worked. She pulled out her best blouse and wrapper, tying it proudly over her new waist. Outside, the village was waking up, but Miffa was about to wake them up in a different way. She stepped out of her house, and the first person she passed dropped his basket in shock. Miffa walked slowly through the village square, but today she didn't feel like the old Miffa who tried to hide behind trees or walk behind crowds. Today, her hips moved gently, her waist curved like a calabash, and her stomach, flat as a mat left in the sun. Her wrapper hugged her new shape perfectly. Heads turned. Mouths opened. Whispers flew like birds in the market. Wait, is that Miffa? It can't be. Look at her waist. She looks like one of those city girls now. Miffa smiled softly and kept walking. She didn't need to say anything. Her body said it all. The boys who used to laugh at her now stared in silence. Some tried to greet her, stuttering over their own names. Even the village tailor, who once refused to sew a dress for her, stood outside his shop blinking like he saw a ghost. At the village square, girls surrounded her. What did you do? You look so fine. Is it slimming tea? Tell us. Miffa gave them a small smile. I just started tying my wrapper differently, she said. She wasn't ready to tell anyone the truth. Not yet. That afternoon, as she walked home, Kobe, the most handsome boy in the village, ran after her. Miffa, wait, he called. She turned, her heart beating fast. No boy had ever called her like that before. Kobe smiled nervously. You look amazing, he said. Do you want to come with me to the festival dance next week? Miffa smiled, but deep inside her stomach turned. Not from nerves, but from a soft, strange heat rising. It started from her waist and spread quickly. She smiled through it. I'll think about it, she said, then walked away slowly, hiding the slight burn under her smile. Back in her room, she untied the wrapper. Her skin underneath was red, like it had been pressed too hard. And when she touched her belly, it tingled, like something was waking up beneath it. But the red marks from the wrapper were deeper now, shaped like tiny, winding lines and glowing again. When she touched them, again they felt warm. She wrapped herself in a loose cloth and sat on her mat, thinking. Her mind wanted to be happy. The world had finally accepted her, but her body whispered another story. Each time she wore the wrapper, the burning got stronger. Maybe it's nothing, she told herself. Maybe it's just the magic working. She didn't want to lose this feeling, this new power, the way people looked at her now, the way they called her name softly instead of shouting it in jokes. For once, she felt seen. The next morning, she tied the wrapper again. This time, it took longer. It felt heavier. The fabric was still smooth, but now it seemed to cling to her like it didn't want to let go. As she tied it, the burning started again, sharp and sudden, like fire dancing under her skin. Outside, Mimira was glowing. Her body looked even better than before, like a sculpture. Her stomach was flat and firm, her hips curved perfectly, and her waist could fit inside a drinking bowl. When she entered the village square, even the elders stared in silence. She walked into the tailor's shop. "I need a new dress," she said, standing tall. The tailor nodded quickly. Yes, whatever you want." He didn't even take her size. He just looked at her with wide eyes like she was a queen. But as Mimira turned to leave, her vision blurred for a moment. The sky looked darker, the ground farther away. She blinked hard and kept walking. "Maybe I stood up too fast," she told herself. That night, she unwrapped her cloth and found the lines again, now darker, almost black, snaking across her belly like vines. Her heart skipped. "What is this?" she whispered. She thought of the witch, of her warning. Nothing comes for free, and in the silence of her room, Mimira felt it. The magic was still working, but it was also taking something. The day of the village festival finally arrived. The drums beat loud and strong, and the scent of spicy pepper soup filled the air. Women danced in colorful wrappers, children chased each other with painted faces, and men cheered around the wrestling ground. But when Mimira arrived, the crowd fell silent. Her dress, newly sewn by the tailor, hugged her shape like it was made of water. Her stomach was smooth as stone, her waist tiny like a broom handle, and her walk, slow, soft, and full of pride, drew every eye. Even the other village girls, once called the fine ones, now stood aside as Mimira passed. "She's the most beautiful girl in Mimira," someone whispered. Kobe, standing near the festival drums, left his friends and walked straight to her. "Mimira," he said, taking her hand, "dance with me." She smiled, her heart fluttering. This was the moment she had dreamed of, when the world would see her, and it had finally come true. As they danced, people clapped. Her hips moved like music. Her eyes shone. Kobe spun her gently and she laughed out loud, the sound echoing like bells. But halfway through the song, her steps slowed. The burn in her stomach returned, hotter than ever. She gasped softly. Her vision swam. The colors of the festival began to blur. She clutched her side, trying to breathe. Kobe reached out. "Are you okay?" I just need air," she whispered, stepping back. She rushed behind the trees, her hands gripping her stomach. Underneath her wrapper, the black lines were glowing like hot iron. The wrapper itself moved slightly on its own, like it was breathing with her. Then in the shadow of the palm trees, she saw something that made her freeze. The old woman was standing there. Mimira ran toward her. "You didn't tell me it would hurt," she shouted, tears in her eyes. "You didn't tell me it would burn like fire." The woman looked at her calmly. "I told you, beauty comes with a price." Mimira shook her head. "But this is too much. What is it taking from me?" The woman stepped closer. "Each time you wear it, a piece of you fades. Your strength, your spirit, your joy. One day there may be nothing left." Miffa's eyes widened. "How do I stop it?" The woman turned and vanished into the dark trees without a word. Mimira stood there shaking, the drums still beating in the distance. But in her chest, only fear pounded louder. That night, Mimira sat alone in her room, staring at the wrapper. It lay folded on her mat like a sleeping snake, harmless and beautiful. But she now knew better. Her body still ached. The black lines on her stomach had stopped glowing, but they were still there, thicker now, like roots digging into her skin. She tried to sleep, but the heat wouldn't let her. Each time she closed her eyes, she saw the old woman's words dancing like fire. One day, there may be nothing left. By morning, she looked in the mirror. Her body was still slim, her stomach still flat, her face still sharp and smooth. But her eyes, they looked tired, empty. The sparkle she once had, before all of this, was gone. She forced a smile and stepped outside. People still admired her. The stares, the greetings, the compliments, they were everywhere. But this time, Miffa didn't feel joy. She felt hollow, like she was performing a play, and everyone was clapping. But she wasn't on stage by choice anymore. She was trapped. At the market, one of the women touched her arm. "You're getting finer every day, Miffa. Tell me your secret. Is it a city cream?" Miffa laughed lightly, but it was fake. "Something like that," she said. Later that day, she saw Kobe again. He brought her coconut candy and sat beside her under a mango tree. "Miffa," he said softly, "you're the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. But sometimes when you smile, it doesn't look real. Are you okay?" She looked at him. This boy who never noticed her before now sat close, watching her with concern. Would he still care if she looked like the old Miffa? "I'm fine," she lied, forcing another smile. "Just tired." But deep inside, the burning returned. This time not on her skin, but in her heart. Because for the first time, she realized the truth. They didn't love her. They loved what the rapper turned her into. And if she lost it all tomorrow, so would their love. That night, Miffa sat with the rapper again, shaking. "How much more of me will you take?" she whispered. And the silence answered her with heat. The next morning, Miffa made a decision. She had to find the old woman again. She needed answers. She needed to know how to stop the magic before it stopped her. She remembered the place they first met, the river by the big tree. The villagers called it the mirror tree because its roots were so smooth they reflected the sky. No one went there often. They said spirits passed through it at night. Miffa didn't care. She walked there alone, early, before the sun climbed fully into the sky. Her legs felt weak, her hands trembled, and under her wrapper the burning had started again. Slow but steady, she stood beside the tree, breathing heavily. "I know you're watching me," she called out. "Please come, we need to talk." The wind picked up slowly, the tree's leaves began to shake, and then, like before, the old woman stepped out, this time from behind the trunk, as if she'd grown from the bark. "You're still wearing it," the woman said. Miffa nodded, tears in her eyes. "I'm scared. I don't know how to live without it. But I also know it's killing me." The woman walked closer. Her eyes were not cruel, but they were not soft either. "It feeds on your insecurity, on your desire to be seen. But true beauty doesn't need to feed. It shines from what's already inside." Miffa dropped to her knees. "Then help me. Tell me what to do. I don't want to lose myself." The woman reached into her cloak and brought out a small clay bowl filled with dark water. "Look," she said. Miffa leaned over the bowl. Inside, she saw her old self, fat, round, jiggly, and smiling while dancing in the rain. She looked free. Then the image changed. She saw her new self, slim, glowing, surrounded by people. But her eyes were empty. Her smile was hollow. "You have a choice," the woman said. "Burn the wrapper. Let go of what the world expects. Or wear it until it finishes you." Miffa stood slowly. Her stomach still burned. Her eyes still stung. But something in her heart sparked for the first time. Courage. She took the wrapper off slowly, holding it in her hands. "I think I'm ready," she said. The woman nodded. "Then your real beauty will begin." Miffa walked home holding the wrapper carefully, like it was made of glass and poison at the same time. Her legs felt weak, not from fear, but from the strange peace growing inside her. A peace that said, "You're enough." She didn't know where it came from. Maybe the witch's bowl, maybe her own heart, but it was new, and it was powerful. When she got to her room, she closed the door, locked the windows, and knelt beside her small cooking stove. She placed the wrapper in a clay pot and poured dry leaves on top. Her hands shook as she picked up the matchstick. "I was never ugly," she whispered, "just unseen." She struck the match. The fire caught quickly, like the wrapper was hungry for it. Blue flames danced high, twisting like snakes. The wrapper hissed and cracked, releasing a sour smell that filled the room. Miffa stepped back, covering her mouth. She saw the flames curl around the fabric, turning it black, then gray, then ash. Suddenly, the burning in her stomach flared up one last time, so sharp that she fell to her knees, groaning. Her skin felt like it was peeling from the inside. Her ears rang, her eyes blurred. Then, silence and coolness. Like water had been poured on the fire inside her. She sat on the floor, her body wet with sweat, but calm. The clay pot in front of her now held nothing but ashes. The wrapper was gone. She walked to her mirror, afraid of what she might see. Her heart raced. She looked. Her body had changed again. Her waist was wider. Her arms were fuller. Her belly was soft again. Not like before, but not flat either. It was real, and hers. Her face still had sharpness in her eyes, but now with softness too. A quiet power, a peace she hadn't felt since childhood. She smiled, not the kind that begged for approval, but the kind that comes from someone who knows who they are. And that smile, it made her truly beautiful. Not because of magic, but because it was hers. Missfa didn't go out for 2 days. Not because she was afraid, but because she needed time to breathe. Time to sit with her body, her thoughts, her truth. She ate slowly, wore simple clothes, and stared at herself in the mirror until the shame left her face. On the third day, she walked outside. The village was busy again. Children playing, women trading yams and pepper, men talking loudly under the mango tree. No one noticed her at first, and that was okay. She didn't walk like someone searching for attention anymore. She walked like someone at peace. But slowly, people began to whisper, "Is that Missfa? She looks different again." Kobe saw her near the well and walked over, slowly. "Hey," he said, "you look nice." Missfa looked at him, smiling gently. "Thank you, but I don't need to hear it anymore." He blinked. "Why not?" She shrugged. "Because whether you say it or not, I finally believe it myself." Kobe looked down, then back at her. "So, is the festival dance still on?" Because the second festival was coming. Missfa thought for a moment. "I'm not going because I want to be seen. I'm going because I like dancing. If you want to dance beside me, not for how I look, but for who I am, you can meet me there." Kobe smiled. "Then I'll be there." That night, Missfa dressed in a soft orange wrapper. Nothing tight, nothing loud. Just clean, bright, and comfortable. Her hair was tied in 2 thick braids, and her smile was full of quiet fire. When she walked into the square, no one clapped, no one gasped, but a few people looked at her with a different kind of respect. Not because she forced them to, but because they could see her now, truly see her. She danced slowly in the dust, her body soft and free. The music touched her bones, and she didn't care who watched or whispered. She was Missfa again, but not the old one, a stronger one, a real one. The festival dance was still going when Missfa sat on the bench beneath the old tree. Her feet were dusty from dancing, her cheeks warm from smiling. Not the forced kind she used to wear like a mask, but the kind that came from inside, like light through a window. Kobe came and sat beside her again. He didn't say anything right away. He just handed her a cup of zobo and smiled. This time, he wasn't staring at her body or her waist. He was looking at her face, her eyes, her strength. "You're different," he said finally. "Not just how you look, but how you carry yourself." Missfa nodded slowly. "Because I dropped something heavy," she said. Kobe looked around. "But you're not carrying anything." She turned to him. "I dropped the need to be accepted by force. The hunger for people's attention, the lie that I had to be smaller to be worthy." He didn't speak. He just listened. She continued, her voice calm but full of fire. "The wrapper didn't just change my body, it covered who I was. It gave me beauty, but took away my joy. I became a ghost in my own skin. People clap for what I look like, not who I was." She looked up at the stars. "But I'm done chasing smallness. I'm done burning to fit into other people's eyes. I'm Missfa. I laugh loud. I take up space. My stomach jiggles. My arms are soft, but my heart is strong. My mind is bright, and my spirit is too big to be wrapped." The wind passed softly through the trees. Kobe whispered, "You're beautiful." Missfa smiled. "Now I know. True beauty has nothing to do with your size, your shape, or your skin. It lives in how you carry your truth, how you protect your joy, and how you love yourself, loudly, fully, and without apology." Would you wear something magical if it gave you everything you ever wanted, but slowly took away who you really are? Have you ever felt pressure to change just to fit into what people call beautiful? What would happen if you decided to love yourself exactly as you are today? If you enjoy the story, please like, comment, subscribe, and share for more captivating stories. Love you all.